All right, Mike Heck here for MMAfighting.com. Happy Tuesday, and what a wild and wacky Tuesday it is, because moments ago, as we record right here, Most Valuable Promotions, which is co-founded by Jake Paul, just dropped a bombshell on everybody. Most Valuable Promotions is not presenting this boxing event on May 16th. They're presenting a mixed martial arts event on May 16th. I don't know if it's an event, but they're presenting a massive mixed martial arts bout May 16th in Los Angeles. The combatants, Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano, in a women's featherweight matchup at the Intuit Dome. It's going to stream exclusively on Netflix. It is going down. All of the build, all of the hype, all of the hubbub is going to kick off March 5th, which is 2 days before UFC 326, with a press conference in Los Angeles. So we are getting Ronda Rousey returning to mixed martial arts for the first time since losing to Amanda Nunes in December of 2016. So nearly a decade, taking on Gina Carano, who returns for the first time in nearly 17 years following her loss to Chris Cyborg at a Strikeforce event in August of 2009. This thing came out of nowhere. I can't believe we're talking about it. I didn't expect to do a reaction show today. I'm actually visiting some family right now here in Dallas, Texas, but we got to do it. I brought my equipment with me, and joining me to react to all of this crazy news is this man, my best friend, the one and only Alexander K. Lee. AK, how are you? And I guess the more important question, what are we doing here? What's happening?
First of all, Happy New Year, Happy Chinese New Year, Happy Lunar New Year to all my peoples out there. That is what I thought I would be focused on today, the tradition of my people. I woke up, I think I logged on within 15 minutes. This announcement was made. This is absolutely insane. I know, Mike and I, we were talking before the show. I was trying to remember, was this in the works? Was there rumblings of this? Mike reminded me there was talk of Rousey coming back for sure. I mean, this started last year. She started putting out, training videos and clips like that. Anytime you do that, start going public with that stuff, you're going to have people, talking, oh, is she going to fight again? What's her interest? She started doing some interviews, talking about stuff like that. Never committed, though, never made it clear. But she was being cagey. There was no ruling out. There was never that firm, I'm definitely not coming back. She would joke about it. So there was talk, but I didn't think, I don't know. I thought she was done. However, Mike, I will say I'm happy that a prediction I made years ago that she would fight again has finally come true. I made this probably after she lost. I can't remember where I was working at the time or who I was talking to. Probably after her last Nunes loss. If the immediate question was, will she fight again? I think I stood firm that she would fight again. So technically, this prediction, 10 years later? What was it? 2016? The Nunes? What was Nunes?
December 2016.
Yeah, so over 9 years later now, the prediction has kind of come true. So point for me, Mike. Point for me. I knew she'd be back. I knew after all the movies and all the pro wrestling and all the talk about retiring because of concussions, that she would be back.
Are you surprised that MVP is putting this on and that it's an MMA bout? Because that was, wow. I didn't see that coming. When I first saw the announcement, I'm like, Ronda's fighting Gina Carano in a boxing match, because it was an MVP announcement. And then I really read the release, and I was like, it's a mixed martial arts bout. MVP's getting into the MMA game, which is wild to me. And what a fight to really kick this thing off, because not only does it have hardcore MMA appeal, because obviously everybody knows who these two women are, this has casual appeal like crazy, from obviously Ronda just being a crossover star, her being in WWE, Gina Carano, her being in the news and being in The Mandalorian and all of that stuff. Everybody knows who these two women are. MVP putting this on. What was your reaction to MVP getting into the MMA game and doing so with this fight?
No matter how you feel about these guys personally, I mean, you have to give Jake Paul and Nikki Sabedarian and the whole MVP crew credit. They know how to put together these quote unquote dream matchups, or matchups you wouldn't even think of making. And make it reality, listen, I never wanted to see Jake Paul fight Mike Tyson. That wasn't a thing I wanted to see. I didn't really want to see Jake Paul fight Anthony Joshua, to be honest. I know a lot of people did want to because of what happened. But these are events that, like you said, might catch the mainstream eye, have people talking. This one will too. Maybe not on the level of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, but it's kind of sad to say it says as much about their achievements as it does sort of how far or how not far the profile of women's MMA has grown since Ronda's retirement. That they're probably two of the most famous fighters, the two most famous women's MMA fighters in the world still. Maybe Holly Holm has surpassed Gina Carano. You can certainly make an argument for Amanda Nunes, though I would say Amanda Nunes obviously never really hit that next mainstream level of fame. But yeah, I mean, if you let's say you polled random people on the street and you pulled up 10 women's fighters, like the 10 biggest women's fighters, the majority would probably be able to name Rousey and Gina Carano. And not so many of the others. So this is crazy. Like, this is right is still, it sounds weird because again, Rousey's not competed since 2016. Carano not since 2009. Their names are still relevant. Yes, because they've done stuff outside of fighting. But yeah, that's kind of the whole appeal of this match. You just have these two extremely famous people, one of whom was very famous and instrumental in helping to build women's MMA. Another legitimate mainstream sports superstar in her prime, and still very well known today. So yeah, I'm not surprised, Mike. Sorry, to answer the main question, that it was MVP that puts it together, because this is the kind of wild shit that this promotion does.
Yes, and this will be a full-on MMA event now that I read the press release a little more closely. Wow. This is the debut event. It's a 5-round fight, 5-minute rounds, 4-ounce gloves. I don't know if there's going to be any particular like MVP women's featherweight title on the line. So that obviously opens up a lot of really interesting opportunities for women to compete in that division. The Chris Cyborgs of the world who are getting ready to wind down in like PFL. Oh. I mean, just think of like the possibilities we could have here. And then on top of that, like they're trying to build the rest of this MMA card. Are we getting Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman, and MMA on this card? Like, is this where we're going here? Did we sort of set the table with some of the MMA guys crossing over into boxing to sort of... Is Anderson Silva on this card? Is he going to compete in a mixed martial arts bout on this card, AK, if you had to take a guess?
A lot of phones are ringing right now, Mike. Or I guess we don't do that anymore. I guess we don't do that anymore. A lot of texts are being sent. I'm sorry to say. A lot of notifications are popping up on people's phones right now because, yeah, that is how you should build a card like this. If you want to throw a couple of like, MVP signs, some prospects and wants to show, okay, fine. But throw them on. If this has a prelim section, assuming it does have prelims, which it might not. It might just be like a 5-fight card, right? We don't know. But assuming, let's say there's it's like a boxing type event or UFC type event where there's actual prelims, yeah, fine. Throw some guys in there. But we're talking about the meat of the main card. Absolutely, we're just going with established names. We don't need to sort of make more out of this first event than what it is, which is the start of Netflix getting to the MMA thing with most valuable promotions. You're going to have a lot of eyeballs on here, again, who don't normally watch MMA. I know we say that about a lot of events, but it really holds true for this one. And if you get named like Anderson Silva, if you get named like Chris Weidman, if you get some, I'm just trying to think, all these kind of veterans, they're probably trying to get a piece of this. I think you can really build an intriguing, fun card. How good will the quality of the fights be? That's a separate question altogether. And again, not really important, I think, to what Netflix is trying to do. Again, as long as they, book a few mismatches on there, get some big knockouts, really just build up properly to this. I hope Netflix does, an MVP, do not try and do like a 10-fight, 12-fight UFC type card. Don't do that. Don't do a 7-hour, 6-hour event. I don't think that's what they would want to do. That's not the vibe I'm getting from this. 7 fights maximum, 2 or 3 prelims, and then a 4 or 5-fight main card. That's it. That's your sweet spot. Boom. You are Bob's your uncle. You are nailing it if you do that. So that's what I hope it is. They should introduce some sort of title, Mike, but I think just a ceremonial one. I think just a one-off thing. I don't imagine Rousey or Carano are going to fight again after this. So I guess that's my question to you, Mike. This has to be a one-off for both women, right?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, maybe under this banner, they just want to keep going. I mean, just think of the money they're going to make here.
If they can get Chris Cyborg involved, obviously, with either woman, the Rousey Cyborg dream match is even bigger than this one. And then even Cyborg Carano too, I think would draw some interest.
You could throw Amanda Serrano in an MMA fight with one of these two women.
You could. She's done it before. She knows how to. She knows how to mix the martial arts. Yeah.
Here's the other thing that I thought about, and I don't know if you could put yourself in this man's shoes. You have far too much hair to do so. What is Dana White thinking right now seeing this?
Like
What
as
do
we're
you think his
recording,
reaction is right now?
as we're recording this, he's got to drop White House news, right? He's in the next
I mean,
48
he
hours.
has to.
Has to. If
He
not
has
tonight, what
to.
is it? It's a
Maybe
Tuesday.
maybe we should thank Jake and Nikisa for doing this to, like, pedal to the metal over there at UFC HQ.
Where's my UFC tweet? Dana White has an announcement on Instagram later today. Where is it? How is it? They are slow on the trigger, man. Like I know West Coast time, it's a bit early, but geez, Louise, can we get on this? Yeah. Uh, the timing seems perfect. Dana has been saying or not saying, I'm not sure. He's kind of dancing around. He said the card was set, but it's like also it still needs to be finalized. I'm very unclear on how set the UFC White House card is, and again, what actual fights there will be. I think we all have some idea of what makes sense, but nothing's official. Literally, nothing has been made official as far as fights go. So within the next 40 hours, yes, hopefully Jake Paul and company have jostled Dana White and his crew into action because we got to get some fights happening. But he has to be surprised by this. He is good friends with Ronda. I'm sure there's a part of him that's is happy for her. I'm sure she's getting the bag for this, as the kids say. So I'm sure he's happy for her. But I'm sure there'll also be some tense conversations as well the next time. Like what the hell? We couldn't have made this happen. We couldn't have made this happen for me, Ronda. What's going on? So as spiteful as I'm sure Uncle Dana can be, I think he's mostly happy for her, but he's got to get his ass moving now, promoting because this might be it's not going to be bigger than UFC White House. It isn't, but the fact that it's in the conversation as far as mainstream popularity goes is kind of weird, and also adding in the whole Netflix factor that hey, Tyson versus Paul was huge because it was on Netflix. The watchability, same with this. If someone's curious what MMA, never really seen an MMA event before. Everyone has a Netflix subscription now. Guess what? They can tune in. They tune in. And a lot of people will.
Is this the biggest MMA fight of the year? Like when we get to the end, it may not deliver like a great fight, but when it's all said and done, are we talking about? It doesn't matter what the White House brings. The White House can just be. It's the location of the White House card that's going to build that. Like we already know that there's no chance that their lineup that they're going to put together is going to live up to the hype that everybody put on it. There's just no way. And I kind of feel like no matter what they put together, it's kind of going to be a dud in a lot of people's eyes just because of the overhype and the we're gonna knock your socks off with this and everybody's socks stay on. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope they put together like the biggest event ever.
Yes.
But at the end of 2026 and we're talking awards and we're reflecting back, are we talking about, man, Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano was the biggest MMA fight by far this year?
Man, it's difficult because I haven't been speaking from the perspective enough of the dedicated hardcore fight fan, like the one who keeps up with all the events. Because honestly, to the a lot. Let me put it this way: a lot of the esteemed viewers and listeners of MMA Fighting, I think they're intrigued by this sort of matchup, but they're also right to scoff at it. I mean, these are two fighters. Listen, great athletes, no disrespect, well past their prime. I think any athlete that's near their 40s in most sports would be considered past their prime. So it's not an insult to them at all. So I think again, you're more serious fight fan is viewing this for what it is, like a kind of cool exhibition. I mean, it's a pro bout, but a kind of a cool exhibition, maybe a farewell to Ronda Rousey, farewell to Gina Carano, if you have some sort of great attachment to these fighters. So I think in that sense, I don't think it can be bigger than, let's say, if UFC gave us Alex Pereira versus John Jones. Your average fight fan cares way more about that fight than Rousey versus Carano. Even Ilya versus Islam, if they were able to make that happen this year. Alex John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, if they were able to make that happen this year. For the real fight fan, those would be bigger fights than Rousey Carano. But in the big picture, the UFC cannot. I don't even think they can put together a fight that is bigger mainstream wise that would get more casual eyeballs than this one. All the three fights I just mentioned. I love Poatan. Your average sports fan does not know who Alex Pereira is. Your average sports fan probably doesn't know John Jones is still fighting. Like, it's just been so sporadic over the last few years. Your average sports fan definitely does not know, at least in North America. I know he has a big presence, of course, internationally. Ilya Topuria is not like a household name. Ronda Rousey is a household name, even to this day. Again, plus because of her movie stuff, because of her WWE exposure, and because of that crazy UFC run where she was just drawing massive amounts of eyeballs. So individual fight-wise, and if we're talking big picture, I don't think the UFC can put together a bigger fight. I don't know what it could be.
Last question. True or false, Jake Paul competes in an MMA fight this year, now that he has his own MMA promotion?
This year? No. False. Not this year.
Okay.
Does it renew my belief that he will actually fight an MMA fight? I think he has to now. I think, and I think the boxing. I don't want to call it a grift, but the boxing run can only go so long after getting his jaw broken. That was not a good time. Not that you can't get badly hurt in MMA. There's a million ways to get injured in MMA, but it would be a new challenge. It would be he could be able to fight in a different way. Maybe not take so many blows to the head, but we'll see. Mike, who wins?
Yes.
Who wins? Where's a prediction?
I'll go Ronda Rousey.
Okay, I'm not going to hold you to that. Listen, we'll have plenty of time before this fight actually happens. Fingers crossed, everyone stays healthy. You're going Ronda Rousey. Yeah, I think Rousey destroys Gina Carano. I don't know, that's a crazy take.
I don't know. It's so wacky and weird. I just don't know.
One good hit could change the whole thing. Rousey herself has said, man, her head was not doing great near the end of that WWE run after all the UFC stuff. So one good punch, I don't know, but I think Rousey theoretically should just kill her.
Yeah, I'm curious what the opening odds will be for this, but yes, it is going down. It is going down on Netflix May 16th. The press conference May 5th in Los Angeles. Didn't think we'd be doing a reaction to this today, but here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano is a thing that is happening. It was on your bingo card. Congratulations, you have the weirdest bingo card I've ever seen, and collect your $25 gift certificate. For AK, I am Mike Heck. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We're out of here. Obviously, we'll see you on May 16th. This is unbelievable.